The fifth spiritual law of success is the law of intention and desire. This law is based on the fact that energy and information exist everywhere in nature. In fact, there is nothing other than energy and information at the level of the quantum field. And the quantum field is just another label for the field of pure consciousness or pure potentiality. And this quantum field is influenced by intention, by desire. Let's examine this process in detail. A flower, a rainbow, a tree, a blade of grass, a human body, when broken down to their essential components, are energy and information. The whole universe in its essential nature is the movement of energy and information. The only difference between you and a tree is the difference between the energy and informational content in that energy at the level of the quantum field. On the material level, both you and the tree are made up of the same recycled elements, mostly carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, and the other elements in minute amounts. You could buy these in a hardware store for a couple of dollars. The difference, therefore, between you and the tree is not the carbon or the hydrogen or the oxygen. In fact, you and the tree are constantly exchanging your carbon and oxygen with each other. The real difference between the two of you is in the energy and in the information. In the scheme of nature, you and I are a privileged species. We have a nervous system that is capable of becoming aware of the energy and information content of that localized field that gives rise to our physical body. We experience this quantum field. We experience it subjectively as our own thoughts, feelings, emotions, desires, memories, instincts, drives, beliefs. The same quantum field that we experience as our thoughts and feelings and emotions and desires subjectively, we experience it objectively as the physical body. And through the physical body, we experience the same quantum field as the world. But it's all really the same stuff. And that is why the ancient seers exclaimed, I am that, you are that, all this is that, that's all there is. Your body is not separate from the body of the universe, because at quantum mechanical levels, there are no well-defined edges. You're like a wiggle, a wave, a fluctuation, a convolution, a tide, a whirlpool, a localized disturbance in the larger quantum field. The larger quantum field, the universe, is your extended body. Not only is the human nervous system capable of becoming aware of the information and energy of its own quantum field, but because human consciousness is infinitely flexible through this wonderful nervous system that we have, you are able to consciously change the informational content that gives rise to your body. And by consciously changing the energy and informational content of your own quantum mechanical body, you can influence the energy and informational content of your extended body, your environment, your world, and therefore cause things to manifest in it. This conscious change is brought about by the two qualities inherent in consciousness: attention and intention. Attention energizes, and intention transforms. Whatever you put your attention on will grow stronger in your life. Whatever you take your attention away from will wither, disintegrate, and disappear. Intention, on the other hand, triggers transformation of energy and information. Intention is the real power behind desire. It is actually desire without attachment to the outcome. The quality of intention on the object of attention will...
Good morning, gang. We're gonna get it started here shortly. This trade, if by the end of the 4 hour, if we were to close like ideally below here, this black line, to me it would be invalidated, but to me I like this area. So what we're gonna want to see, to me, is probably a little punch, probably a reaction. There's 3 minutes left in the end of this 4 hour candle. Alright, so in my eyes, as long as we don't get a close below 88.68, it should be valid. But if we do close below it, what we could expect to see is potentially a push lower. To me, I like playing the 30-minute, just because in terms of the 4-hour, like I really don't see it closing too bearish, right? Especially if we're gonna go higher. But if we close below this, ideally, like I said, it'll be invalid. So we're gonna get it started here in about probably like 3 to 5 minutes, right? So we're gonna start a little bit after the hour. But keep sending this link out, family. Let's get at least 20 heads on here, right? We're gonna go through some indices as well, see what's up over there. But we're gonna get it started in a couple minutes.
Orchestrate an infinity of space-time events to bring about the outcome intended, provided one follows the other spiritual laws of success. This is because intention on the fertile ground of attention has infinite organizing power. Infinite organizing power means the power to organize an infinity of space-time events all at the same time. We see the expression of this infinite organizing power in every blade of grass, in every apple blossom, in every cell of our body, in everything that is alive. What is remarkable about the nervous system of the human species is that it can command this infinite organizing power through conscious intent. Intent in the human species is not fixed or locked into a rigid network of energy and information. It has infinite flexibility. In other words, as long as you do not violate the other laws of nature, through your intent, you can literally command the laws of nature to fulfill your dreams and desires. You can literally put the cosmic computer with its infinite organizing power to work for you. The only caution is that you use your intent for the benefit of mankind. And that happens spontaneously when you are in alignment with the 7 spiritual laws of success. Intention lays the groundwork for the effortless, spontaneous, frictionless flow of pure potentiality, seeking expression from the unmanifest to the manifest. Intention combined with detachment leads to life-centered, present moment awareness. This is how intention makes action powerful. When action is performed in present moment awareness, it is most effective. The past, present, and future are all properties of consciousness. The past is recollection, remembering, memory. The future is anticipation. The present is awareness. Therefore, time is the movement of thought. Both past and future are born in the imagination. Only the present, which is awareness, is real and eternal. It is. It is the potentiality of space-time, matter, and energy. It is an eternal field of possibilities, experiencing itself as abstract forces, whether they be light, heat, electricity, magnetism, or gravity. These forces are neither in the past nor in the future. They just are. Our interpretation of these abstract forces gives us the experience of concrete phenomena and form. Remembered interpretations of abstract forces create the experience of the past. Anticipatory interpretations of the same abstract forces create the future. They are the qualities of attention in consciousness. And when the quality of attention in consciousness is freed from the burden of the past, then action in the present becomes the fertile ground for the creation of the future. Intention, grounded in this detached freedom of the present, then serves as the catalyst for the right mix of matter, energy, and space-time events to create whatever it is that we desire. One-pointed intention is that quality of attention that is unbending in its fixity of purpose. One-pointed intention means to hold your attention to the outcome that's intended with such unbending purpose that you absolutely refuse to put your attention on obstacles. There is a total and complete exclusion of all obstacles. And if you have life-centered present moment awareness, then the imaginary obstacles which are more than 90% of perceived obstacles, disintegrate and disappear. The remaining 5 to 10% of perceived obstacles can be
Good morning, family. All right, so let's dive straight into it today. Right, just taking a look at it. Obviously, it just came and kind of wicked into this area. As of right now, it's a fairly nice open to the 4 hour. Ideally, it should run, but gold still, like, it doesn't matter how like bullish it really opens up. Like, to me, I still think we're gonna wick into this area if we are gonna go higher. It looks like just to open the beginning of the 4 hour, looks like we might be filling some of this 15-minute. So we could potentially now see price start to drop down a little bit. But one thing to be cautious of as well, to me, is obviously if we fill this, we could potentially take this low. But ideally, in order to take the low, I would truthfully want to see us come back up at least to like this imbalance up here. I don't think we quite get all the way back up here. If we come back all the way back up to like 1901 area, in my eyes, we probably take the highs because there's some liquidity in that area. But as of right now, what I would kind of wait for more or less is just like a smaller time frame breaker structure, right? To just be able to kind of get in there if you didn't get in towards like that entry area that we had, right? But if you're just patient, you're disciplined, right? You're just waiting. Because like I said, if you're watching price, you're never really going to miss a trade because there's always going to be opportunities to re-enter. It's just a matter of whether or not you're going to be patient and disciplined enough to sit there and kind of wait. So like one super confirmation that would kind of like have us more or less just kind of looking for a continuation would be this candle to engulf. I truthfully think we do. In my eyes, I think we run. But like I said, I wouldn't say just buy from here. I would say we probably get like a quick little wick down into this little area. Right, so maybe you could potentially look to scale into a smaller size position in here. Because like I said, based off the open, we really don't actually have to come like lower than this low. To me, if we break down below the low, that would obviously like bring us into that IPA and this 30-minute POI that we're kind of looking at. But if we're able to, like, for example, close above even like this, right? I'm sure on the 1 minute that would be a break. Yeah, so on the 1 minute, at least if we could break on the 1 minute, to me, I would like to see price come back down and fill some of this IPA, get a wick into here. So if we get a wick back into there, ideally just to this high alone would be about a 1 to 7, right? So in my eyes, that would be something that would be like fairly easy in terms of target. I think we should truthfully just run. If we're obviously going to get that continuation, to me, I think like the beautiful thing about the area that we're in right now is that even if we're going to sell off, it's like we're going to come back, at least in my eyes, into this area. So like I said, it's just a matter of paying attention to how we react in terms of I believe it was a 15-minute. Yeah, so we had a little 15-minute imbalance in here, right? We had some smaller time frame price action in the cut as well. So in terms of gold, this is really something that we could see right now. But ideally, like I said, what we want to see is like a break in terms of seeing price push a little bit higher. It looks like Nas, just from taking a peek at it, looks like we potentially could short. What I would look for potentially is pop back into this area, right? So about 15,019, right? To me, looks like a little quick, easy target would be this little insufficiency that we have down here. So in terms of position wise, let's look at a 15-minute. Yeah, we could really make our way like all the way up into like here. So to me, like anywhere really in this box, we might not even come that high, but overall you could kind of scale your stop loss. To me, I would look to kind of play above this high, like the candle close, because to me, if we close above that, we're just, in my eyes, obviously just going to take and run the high. But Ideally, I don't know if we will really break down below here. This would kind of be the first area that I would look to take profit at, and that area right there would be about a 1 to 10, right? So in terms of NAS, if you guys want to just obviously set some buy limits at about, I would say 15,000, 15, right? I would say kind of scale into the position too. I would obviously want to see us push a little bit deeper into this IPA, but we obviously are going to see gold. Okay, gold wicked into this box, so I would say entries are valid if you were to take a position in here, right? Ideally, stop loss below the low, right, would be about 20 pips, give or take. So I would look to definitely position yourself right now, potentially by market with a tight stop loss. So in terms of that, if you guys wanted to enter, you guys could go ahead. But like I said, we could still come a little bit deeper into this same little insufficiency. But like I said, this is like the bare minimum of where we have to come through. So the fact that we kind of punch into there, to me, yeah. My apologies, family. I was just sending a message. So, yeah, like I said, you could look to ideally take a position in here, or you could wait. You could even set a limit potentially if you're like not really just trying to sit and just watch one thing. If you wanted to kind of browse through the indices as well, like I said, you could do that. To me, 10-15 will for sure get another opportunity. Ideally, like I said, if we get this engulfing candle, we more than likely get a pop down. But if we don't engulf right now to start, to me, in terms of like a 30-minute hourly, like I said, we could just dip down into this area and then see that continuation, right? So NAS, 30. The reason why I like NAS shorts was just because I was just even looking at 30 from like a structure aspect, right? We made a lower low after we came and captured all of this liquidity, right? We actually got a close below this previous low. Once we got that close below, what did we do? We came back and we tested just those last series of last up candles before we obviously created that new lower low. So in terms of structure perspective, I'm looking at this as a lower high, lower low. This now is that new lower low as well. So in my eyes, 30, we could potentially come back into here. I keep pushing. It should be no better for gold, guys. Yeah, we could, you know what I mean? But at the same time, it's just like, I'm going to sit there and kind of just wait. Because seasonality, you know what I mean? It's like DXY broke above in terms of the daily. So in my eyes, it could continue to run, but we also could get a little bit of retracement as well. So indices dropping right now. Like I said, overall, what we could see, to me, just because we didn't actually break above this structure, I think we more than likely take this low. But like I said, if we were to pop back up into here, and if you were to take a position, to me, more or less, I would be looking to kind of TP, give or take, maybe in this IPA, or even a little bit lower into the body of this last down candle. So something like this. Could be about like a 1 to 6 to a 1 to 10, right? So to me, now that we took these lows, right, we could really see what happens in terms of 30. Like I said, in the hourly, from an hourly perspective, it looks like we're really going to continue to break down. But like I said, we probably pop back up into this area first. So indice wise, like I said, shorts look good on 30. In terms of NAS, right, as long as we don't break above this, we could see a continuation. Obviously, we know sometimes there's divergence, right? Sometimes NAS will just keep running. So that's why playing in that area, I would just wait to see it come as high as possible. Yeah, even DXY, like DXY to me, we really could see a potential breakdown, right, in terms of like 15-minute hourly, right? It looks like we're definitely starting to get some distro So to me, like I said, just from a higher time frame perspective, daily wise, right? Us coming in and just capturing all of this liquidity. To me, if we were to run this high, then in my eyes, we probably continue to just obviously soar. But to me, just with this hourly, there's a lot of equal highs. Us coming, capturing this liquidity, I would say it's just beginning of this 4 hour. It's going to be interesting to kind of see just what takes place. Right now, to me, like I said, with us taking all of these highs, we could see just an initial reaction even back down towards here to then go higher, which to me would still kind of make sense for gold longs, right? It's not to say that DXY goes higher, like long term to the downside, but at the same token, like that's what I kind of anticipated more or less. All right, so right, if you guys got into gold, it looks like we're in some profits, right? So this is why I said you guys could have just entered here. I personally took a little bit of a position as well. I took a small position down here as well. So I got in probably about 50%, right? 15-minute engulf. We have to wait one more minute for the 15 minutes to engulf, but as of right now, if it were to close where it's at, then yeah, for sure, this would be that engulfing candle. So to me, like I said, we most definitely could see price return back into this area to then continue higher. But if you guys got in, like I said, you could potentially pay yourself, because like I said, in terms of a 3-minute, 1 minute, us closing above this high, to me, this now looks even more valid, right, than before. Like I said, I gave you the hypotheticals if we close above. So we have 1 minute, as long as we close basically where we're at in about 1 minute. Like I said, if you missed the initial entry, that's cool. This is what you want to see. Like I mentioned earlier, if you're watching it happen, you're never going to miss it. So don't ever feel as though you guys are missing trades just because maybe you're not able to get in right at the beginning. But yeah, even just from having this area, like the accuracy, it's like this is basically from tapping our POI, basically a 50 pip bounce almost instantly, right? To me, right, I did like 89, but I don't know, I just figured that it would have came a little bit lower in terms of just overall. Like I literally missed the area that I wanted by about like 4 pips, right? I just wanted it to truthfully just dip below that low 30-minute low, but it is what it is. So 15-minute engulf. So to me, like I said, that little IPA that we have in there is where personally I would be looking, but we may not come back just because truthfully, shit, with this engulfing candle, us kind of running straight down, in my eyes, if we're really gonna run, to me, I looked at all of this as 15-minute accumulation. So this was just that test. So to me, us coming back here, like we should easily take this high. So if we don't basically run, then to me that would just be kind of a confirmation that ideally price is not ready to go. The only way, like I said, that the longs will kind of be invalidated is if we fail to really break above all of this. Like I said, the first kind of area I would look to partial or maybe break even would be about like 50 pips from where currently price is at. Just because, like I said, there's a little bit of IPA in there, just to be safe, right? Because if you look at the kind of the counter trend within this accumulation, right, you can see that we broke below. But to me, like I said, I'm looking at this as like a jump the creek type shit. We created all of this liquidity, equal lows, punch below it, right? This is kind of to bait sellers, more or less. So that's why, in my eyes, like I said, everybody right now is kind of looking for my apologies to send a message, but Yeah, 30 looks like we're really just going to continue to run down. Like I said, NAS would have been the one that we would have been able to catch. To me, you could short NAS right now. Actually, looking at this 5-minute IPA just filled, so you could sell NAS by market. To me, you could put the stop right above the high. Right, so to me, TP area, obviously that IPA. So like I said, stop above the high. Ideally, like I said, we should really just see price continue to break down, right? So if you're in gold, obviously with NAS being the indice, you want to manage your risk accordingly, right? You don't want to over leverage, especially if you have like a smaller size account. So definitely take that into consideration. But like I said, this confluence is just in alignment with what we're looking for. Overall, we want to see the 15-minute time frame. I didn't really dig down into the 5-minute, but immediately looking at the 5-minute time frame, what we could see is this 5-minute IPA. In my eyes, we came back into there. So this would be valid for me in terms of seeing that IPA fill. All of this, even though on the 15-minute it looks like it's IPA, right? When you break it down in terms of even the 5-minute, like I said, it's just not as much insufficiency there. So to me, like I said, it just makes sense for us to potentially see price fall out of here. But at the same time, like I said, price could still kind of fill this IPA a little bit more. So give or take, you would have anywhere from like a 10 to 20 point stop, depending on where you enter. But like I said, it's valid right now. If you wanted to have a really tight stop, I would have stop right above this high. But like I said, expect that price could potentially come and obviously fill this IPA. So if you're someone that didn't want to have as tight of a stop, that could potentially fall down, right? Like, yeah, that's ideally kind of how I would play it, more or less, right? So yeah, gang, let's definitely just see what happens in terms of overall direction. So first TP ideally would be, like, I would look to partial right below this low at about like 14,946. And then second TP ideally would be about 14,853. So yeah, gang, let's see what happens with NAS if we're able to break down. Goldilocks. Like I said, 15-minute wise, what should either happen is us kind of doing what we're doing right now, kind of just stalling to kind of open this first initial like 5-minute, 15-minute, you know, kind of just come back, tap this last down candle, tap. So we really could just see that continue to tap down or tap that same area. Now it looks like potentially we, like I said, could get a quick little push down into this area. To me, when it comes back into this area, like I said, you don't have to put your full risk on. Like I said, ideally, I still only have half my risk on this position just because it was a little bit on top of our area. But if it comes back into this area, like I said, you would ideally just want to see a quick push into here and then pop up. 30-minute wise now, kind of what I would want to see. I would want to see, ideally, an engulfing candle would be nice, but I wouldn't want to see us just really kind of break down and close just bearish at all. If we do, then I would say just close with a small profit, because to me, in my eyes, I couldn't see how we don't at least push a little bit deeper into that area, right? So that's personally what I would anticipate for gold. So we just gotta wait 9 minutes to see how we close on that 30-minute. Right, NAS popping up to this area. So like I said, ideally we just want to see it come into this area, tap it, and then go. We don't really want to see us go too much higher. So in terms of that, like I said, let's see how we get a reaction out of here. It came back into that same area. Like I said, price is not going to leave without you. It's going to come tap 1, 2, 3 times, 4 times. Gold does the same thing. That's why I like NAS a little bit more than 30. Truthfully, I like 30 too, but the thing about the indices, if you guys really like trade them a lot, you'll notice like divergence. So sometimes you'll miss, like if you're not trading like the 930 open, you might miss like that initial pop. And if you miss that initial pop, then it's like shit, you might not catch a re-entry. Like on 30, for example, like NAS, like I said, it came back up. We have this POI. But when it comes to 30, like look at it. That shit dumping. So overall, like I said, we got the direction from 30 in terms of just the bearishness. Obviously, there was alignment with NAS in terms of bearishness, but 30 was really the main reason, right? And then NAS now, boom. See what I'm saying? It's like we're getting a nice little pop out of this area, right? That first TP we're about to hit, right? So it's just being able to get in quick, like I said. Drop a 888 if you guys are in any trades, right? Drop what you guys are in if you guys are in NAS. Ideally, NAS TP1. In my eyes, once we take this low, that's where I would look to partial a little bit, right? To me, especially if you got in with like, let's say an 11-point stop, right? To about this low is about a 1 to 5, right? So to me, there's no harm in paying yourself at a little light 1 to 5, right? And letting the rest ride. So ideally, if you guys got in towards the top, you could break even, right? Goldie, 5 minutes left. Like I said, I don't really want to see this 15-minute, like to me, this 15-minute candle couldn't go up, truthfully, if we don't pop up. So, like I said, I do want to see us kind of either close bullish and then come back down here after 10:30. Like that's that's really it. If it doesn't do that, then to me it could be a little bit shaky for this area. Like I said, I would just take the little small dub, or just break even at least. Because if you guys got in from like down here, or even at the top of the box, you guys should still be up at least 10 to 15 pips, right? So if you're up 10 to 15 pips, breaking even right now would prevent loss, or just like I said, sitting there and taking your profits, right? There's no harm in that whatsoever, right? NAS, like I said, ideally we want to see price just continue down. Looks like we have an IPA right here that we're gonna fill, right? So we really could just see price boom tap back into there, drop down. Ideally we want to see this 15-30 minute close, like this 30-minute kind of close where it's at. We could potentially pop back up over this. I doubt it. I really just think that the way that the next candle should open, we probably push up a little bit. We might pop back into the same 5-minute area and then drop. Come on, Christopher, you already know what time it is. So ideally, like I said, NAS should really just continue to fall from here. IPA fill, you can see, boom, punch into there. It's just fractal, right? This is why we had this area marked up above here, but within the span of 2 seconds, like I said, I guaranteed you guys when we broke it down, look at this, 3-minute fill so perfectly, right? So in terms of insufficiencies, like I said, this 5-minute really was the only real type of insufficiency that made sense. And you notice how we didn't even fill it fully, right? So this is kind of one of those areas that we would really look to take, right? And it just, like I said, it's something that's fairly clean. Where that should go. Yeah, so you guys see how efficient this is? This is a 1 to 5 and dead ass like 6 minutes. No matter how you slice it, if you guys really got in where we were supposed to get in, that's about 40 points with no drawdown, just like that. TP1 about to spank, fam. Right? So, in terms of Nas was pretty clean. Like I said, you guys should break even. So, like I said, yeah, Nas basically at that TP1. Goldie, like I said, it's not really closing how we would want it to. Like 30-minute, like I said, us popping up and filling this IPA could really give us that, just that feel that we need to really just get that continuation lower. Like I said, the fact that we didn't pop into this at all, like, I'm not going to say it bugged me, but I'm going to say that I really wanted it to come into that area. So gold, you could either break even right now, right, or close with a small profit, right, if you guys took. So to me, this 3-minute area could still be valid, but ideally, it's like with 1 minute left, what we're really going to see happen is one of two things. So if this were to still work, we're going to see us basically kind of pop down right away at the beginning of this at this open. What I would do is, if you still wanted to take from this area, if you didn't already get in, right, this is kind of more or less the parameters I would look at. Like I said, I would anticipate us to just pop down. We might even fill all the way down here. So like I said, you could potentially even get a better entry. This, to me, in terms of risk to reward, makes sense. So like I said, just because the candle didn't close the way that we wanted it to, in terms of a 3-minute structure break, like I said, that's kind of all we were looking for, a smaller time frame break of structure, to then see us continue at least about 1900, to then, if we're going to continue lower, in my eyes, we're more than likely going to fill a little bit of IPA a little bit higher before doing that. But like I said, right now, with us popping down into this 3-minute area, it would more or less kind of be here or nothing when it comes down to gold. So if you guys wanted to get into Goldie, what you guys could go ahead and do, like I said, is enter right now. To me, this should really be the lowest point that we go to if this area that we're looking at is valid. So if you guys are entering, like I said, you guys could really just have a tight stop. I would literally have like this stop right below the low, so about 17 pips. And like I said, we should really see price run right at the beginning. I would say once we break above 90 or 1895, you guys could look to break even if we get that break above. Nas, looks like we're just about creeping into TP1 now. Looks like we're wicking, but with how that 15-minute closed and even the 30-minute, it looks like we're probably just gonna punch down in terms of Pepe candle. So we more than likely will see this second take profit get hit. Overall, like I said, our third take profit would be about a 1 to 17. It would be about 200 points, right? So TP1 just got hit, right? Ideally, TP3. So 1 to 18. Yeah. Drop a TP1 in the chat if you guys hit TP1 with me for Nas. So gold, right? Breaking down, like I said, if we get it close below there, like I said, the likelihood of us reacting out of this area is slim to none already, right? But to me, like I said, 3-minute area, it is what it is, you know? Could live with it. Especially after Nas, right? Didn't get that full risk in. So to me, like I said, this is still ideally that lowest risk area. So don't be scared just because it's coming down. If you wanted to take it, like I said, this is ideally, like these are the type of areas where if you're going to take a position, you're going to want to take it, right? You're going to take it out of the area where ideally you're going to have the tightest R&R, right? Ideally now you could even potentially get in with less than a 10 pip stop, right? If you didn't get in already, or if you maybe just put in a little bit of your position, you could stack the rest of it. Like I said, I still wouldn't invalidate it until the 3-minute close below, but I'm just giving you ideally like the realism of what could happen. We could realistically, if we don't fly out of this 3-minute area, what we're going to do is we're just going to take this low. Like I said, we're going to take that low and wick below that area. And once we wick below that area, like I said, what we're going to look for ideally is just a reaction out of this 30-minute area, right? So overall, like I said, this 3-minute area wouldn't be invalidated till this, but you could just really manage it accordingly and go from there, right? Only trade EUGU for now. Focus on being consistent before I dabble into other pairs. I understand the same mentality. No, 100%. So Christopher, one of my tips to just anybody who wants to kind of, like to me, I feel like picking a volatile pair or like a indice or something like that is kind of like the cheat code. Because if you could, like, for example, if you could trade gold confidently, or if you could trade US 30, NAS confidently, once you go back to like an AU, once you go back to like a UJ, a GU, any of those things that are a little bit slower, oh my goodness, you're going to sit there and you're going to be on one. Like when I go and trade Forex, oh my gosh, I be hitting some bangers, but it's like, I don't really be trading Forex sometimes. Like to me, I'll trade Forex if like Jordan Morgan is like, buy a GU. I'll go look at it, I'll be like, okay. If I lose money, I'm blaming you and I'm never trading Forex again. No, I'm just playing. But ideally, when it comes down to that, like I said, family, it's just being able to discipline yourself, right? Nas is dumping. Oh my gosh. Sorry, family, I'm just taking profits. You guys know the vibes. You guys know the vibes already. Come on now. Guys already know how we get down with the get down. Sorry, gang. Just have to update the chats. Oh, 3-minute engulfing. Yeah, this shit looks lovely, family. Like if you didn't get in now, to me, this is, yeah, like this is it. Stop loss below this low. You can have your stop loss literally. In my eyes, it shouldn't pop back down. If it does, then like I said, it's gonna go lower, right? So you could literally have a 5-6 point stop. But I like that 3-minute engulf. 5-minute, how does 5-minute close? To me, this 5-minute has no wick on the bottom, so we might see it punch down, right? But ideally, in terms of a 15-minute, 30-minute, like we're good to go. We don't really have to keep playing around here. 30-minute wise too. Oh man, yeah. 30-minute wise, this looks beautiful, right? Ideally, this wick right here that we filled, we should easily like break above that with this candle. Like I said, if the bulls are really gonna take over, in terms of obviously the metals, right? Well, like I guess it would be anything XXX USD, right? Is more or less what we would be looking at. Nas, like I said, dumped 30. To me, like the shorts, I wouldn't necessarily validate these shorts unless we close below here. If we close below here, then I would be looking for that same area. But if we don't close below this area, like I said, we could potentially see like buys out of this area right now for even 30, right? You see how we're coming into this imbalance? So you could potentially even start looking longs now. Like I said, there's divergence in terms of the two. So, shit, if you miss Nas, maybe you could get in here. 30, right? To the low. About 25 points, give or take, to me. Like I said, I'd be looking for this high, give or take. So, you could potentially see something like that. Obviously, if you just made money off Nas and gold, to me, it's like, if you were to get into a position, I would risk a little bit less than what you just normally would risk, just because obviously you're up on the day. To me, that's how you conserve profits. But if you hit your percentage for the day, or you're still currently just riding these trades, to me, it wouldn't necessarily be a bad thing. All right. Yeah, I'll take Nas and go to sleep. Yeah, literally. Literally. Right. To me, that's how it should be. Right. Quick in and out is never a bad thing. Like I said, gold, ideally, sometimes you just got to give it a little bit more time to play around. You can't really just get, I want to say, discouraged or even excited, because sometimes you might take an entry, you go into instant profit, and then boom, your stop loss gets hit. Then the contrary, you're sitting there and you're like, oh my gosh, it's gonna hit my stop loss, and then boom, that bitch ends up taking off. So I think when it comes down to being able to just detach yourself from the emotions, it's just being confident with your analysis. It's like the more confluence you can get as you're watching this is just like the better. Like the more times you can come into an imbalance, the better. Like I said, it doesn't necessarily just have to run right away. After we got this, like I said, this kind of price action will kind of consolidate. Why? Because we're trading within this imbalance. What we're doing is just correcting the insufficiency that was in here to begin with, right? What we were lacking was sells, right? So what did we come and do in here? We sold. We have this sell candle, the body that closed within here. We have this sell candle that closed, right? And obviously, we're kind of spiking up and down, but even with this 5 minute, the fact that this 5 minute engulfed, I did not think this 5 minute was engulfed. So now, the fact that you're seeing just this as a whole, I like. Let's take a look at GBP. GBP in terms of a structure aspect too looks like we're maintaining bullish structure. The way that this 4-hour candle opened, we punched down. Yeah, to me, we could really see a continuation higher in terms of GBP. Silver looks like we kind of took off already. Silver looks like we might actually break down a little bit on the 4-hour. But we really might just be breaking down into like this area to then maybe go higher. Silver looks like it kind of took off earlier, right, with this bullishness. So that's one thing to keep in mind when it comes down to just everything as a whole. Like I said, gold, be patient with my baby. My baby. Like I said, before you know it, boom, that bitch will be fucking 1904, 1920. See what I'm saying? So ideally, I would look to break even and take some partials maybe at around 1995. Sorry, 1885. 1895. Holy fuck. Can you guys tell that I've been up for like 30 hours? Because I can now. But, yeah, in terms of that family, really just looking at everything as a whole, what I would expect just with news this week, right? If we take a look kind of at tomorrow, if you guys are obviously trading anything that has euro attached to it, if you're trading anything that has CAD, USD, right, you're gonna see just some volatility throughout the day. The fuck you're up for 30 hours for? Shit, the grind don't sleep, right? Some of you guys slept for like 6 to 8 hours, which is fine. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that it's good to do this, but it's like sometimes you just be in mode. You know what I mean? It's like I was sitting there, I was making plays, I got my walk in for the day, right? I went to the grocery store, I got a nice T-bone. I'm about to go chef that up after this call. I'm about to have some steak and eggs, right? About to get my 3,000 calories in. Wanna know why? Because I'm disciplined. Right? I'm disciplined. So I tell myself I'm disciplined. Tell yourself you're disciplined. Like out loud. And just watch like what your body just wants to do. You sit there and you're like, I just want to do everything. So, you know, I just be in mode. Nah, I be napping like crazy, bro. I don't even be sleeping no more. Like I really be sitting there taking like 3-4 hour naps. So I was up for a while, but I really wasn't up for 30 hours, you know what I mean? It just felt like 30 hours. Up for almost a day, though. I slept for probably like 4 hours. Took a nap. My homie a zombie? Are you crazy? I'm gonna go hoop after this. Come on. Yeah, Goldie looks nice. Is anyone in gold? I entered once we push a little bit deeper into here. I got the rest of my position on. I like. Nas looks like we're feeling lovely. Like, if you look at the 3 minute on Nas, like, to me, breaking even from where you got in should be ideal just because when you really look at just price action, to me, like I said, this little insufficiency that we filled right here, besides that, there's nothing really that's insufficient besides what we're filling right now. So this right here is just really that next area where the algorithm is going to be glued to. Pop back up. We should fill this. Boop. Continue lower. Right? So in terms of Nas, ideally we should really just continue to see. To me, I like the idea of us hitting this TP3. Right? So if you already partial out, maybe you just let the rest ride to this IPA. Could let the rest ride to TP2. Like I said, a 1 to 11 is not bad at all, but nonetheless we've already should have secured about a 1 to 6, give or take, so that's cool. Goldie, right, like I said, once we close above 1895, you guys could break even or partial. We could come back. Like I said, gold be one of those ones where we be coming back, but as of right now, based off the time of the day, in terms of just like how we would want to see just this candle close, like I said, I would want to see personally this buy candle close above just this little wick that we got at that 10:30 close. So in my eyes, we really should just see this continuation. If not, then like I said, we're just gonna break down and it's just gonna be quick. Okay, so just one thing to look out for. But in terms of just the confluence, even with the indices right now in gold, it kind of makes sense. All right, DXY. Like I said, I don't really care about DXY smaller time frame. Overall, this higher time frame, like I said, did we take this high now? Oh, it looks like we took this high. So we took this high now, right? So in my eyes, like I said, we could really see a little bit of a retracement. We took a couple of days worth of liquidity in terms of that, but yeah, Goldie. Ideally, we shouldn't really break down below here. So like I said, if you guys want to have a tighter stop, this would ideally be the place to have it. You guys, if you entered, give it like in around this area, you guys could really reduce it to about a 5-6 pip stop, and then just kind of go from there. Like I said, Nas ideally hit that TP1. We could, like I said, fill this IPA, continue lower. We also might pop back up into this 5-minute candle as well. But overall, in terms of like a 15-30 minute, like I really wouldn't want to see us come all the way back up into this area, especially how this 30-minute candle started. It would make a little bit of sense to see us fill in this wick a little bit, but seeing how we fill this IPA, right, to me, I just don't, like, we're not just going to fill this IPA and fly, right? To me, we should more than likely take these lows at the very least. Like, even if we don't necessarily get all the way back down to this TP3 area, in my eyes, like I said, this TP2 area would be right below that set of equal lows, that liquidity we have, as well as this. See, 5-6 hours, 9. No, up at 3:30 every day. Now that's fire. To me, bro, I just can't sleep that early. It's like, you know, you might be able to sleep at 10 o'clock, but it's like, you know, I be having students in Australia, so it's like, sometimes I be having to run calls at like all type of 1 to like 4 a.m. I have people in Europe too, so for me, my sleep schedule kind of varies depending on the day, right? But I'm up at really the same time every day. I like to just 8 o'clock. Like, even if I just take a little nap, 8 o'clock, 8 o'clock. Go outside, get some sun, get some energy, and boop, keep it pushing. Yeah, today was a pretty calm day though. Pretty calm day, like I said. In terms of position wise, gold um, is up a little bit. If you guys took, I think about like 15, what is it? Oh, 30. 30 pips, not too bad, right? Nas dropped about 70 to 80 points. Like I said, this IPA right here potentially could be maybe a re-entry. I wouldn't personally take this, but hypothetically speaking, this would really be all we need to fill. If you were to take this re-entry, because maybe you missed the top, I would look to just TP1 right below this low, just to be safe, right? Obviously, once we make a new lower low, we could see potentially price come higher. But overall, like I said, I don't really think that anything is going to stop us from at least taking these equal lows. So like I said, we're getting a little bit of a bop out of there right now. In terms of the 5 minute, to me, as long as we close just below the 100% of this imbalance, you know, as long as we don't really push higher, like if we close like basically where we're at right now or even lower, that would be good, right? At the beginning of the next 5 minute, more than likely just pushes up into this same area. Like I said, if you're watching the trade happen, you're never gonna miss it. So if you miss this top area, it's just breaking down the fills and just being realistic. A lot of people are sitting here and new traders, you guys are looking for price to come up to this candle and tap it. It's like we could come up and tap it, but you really have to put into perspective that for us to come back up here, like we're not going to come back and hit every area perfectly. Like there's going to be some point where we're really just going to get that continuation, right? And either that retracement or expansion towards the upside or the downside. And then what you're really going to see, like I said, is just increased volatility. Especially right now, what we should really be seeing is just continuation for the day. In my eyes, the direction should have been set, unless 30 is flying like crazy. I'm kind of reacting out of this area. So like I said, like 30 buy areas, this was solid, right? If you were sitting here just kind of playing this IPA, could have risked, you know, 10 points for about a quick 30. Like I said, I don't know if this sticks, but overall, like I said, this is still kind of the way that my brain works in terms of looking at the market. It's like it's fractal, right? If we were to have been able to have price come into this area first, this is where we would have took profit. And notice how as soon as it gets to this area that we wanted to take profit, it gets a reaction, right? So typically our take profits are going to be just re-entry areas, right? So this area, like I said, we're not going to want to see it, especially after this open. We're not going to want to see it kind of hang around here. To me now, 5 minute, this would be lovely if it just, like I said, engulfs and continues towards the downside. That's what I would expect for NAS, but you know, maybe we do pop a little higher. If we do, I wouldn't play re-entries for sells personally, just because, like I said, 30 to me looks like we could potentially flip towards the upside for longs. But at the same time, I wouldn't buy 30 either. What I would be doing playing 30 is just to see if we close below this low. If we don't close below this low, what we could potentially see maybe is NAS, you know, get buys out of this area or even out of here, right? But we could, even with the IPA fill, you know, if NAS flies from here, that's why our first take profit was where it was. To me, in terms of buying 30, I just couldn't, like, I wouldn't buy it. To me, we'd have to close above this. Like, I would just want to make sure, because in my eyes, like I said, we could still get a reaction towards the downside out of that area. But with session coming to an end, Goldilocks looks like we're approaching our TP1 / partial area. So if you guys want to take some partials, now would be the time. Right, you're up about 40 pips. It was a flawless day today, right? Flawless day. We looked at really just two setups, and you know, we were on the money for both. we kind of missed, and this is the beautiful thing about, like I said, being able to read price action, right? We kind of missed both areas by a little bit, right? Gold, we basically tapped the beginning of the area and then got a reaction, and we played a 3-minute breaker structure, IPA fill. Now we're obviously getting this continuation. NAS was the same thing, right? 15-minute breaker structure. We got the confluence with US 30, and that's more or less how you sit here and you can correlate just what you're trading with just other currencies or other indices that you're trading against too. Because to me, I know if we're looking gold longs and the fact that that bearish structure aligned with the indices, we're typically going to see opposite movement on the indices and gold. Why? Because gold is a safe haven for the dollar, right? If the dollar is going down, typically the indices are going to be going down too, because if the dollar is going down, obviously a lot of those US stocks are going to be going down as well. Not all of them are going to be flourishing. NAS to me has the most potential to be bullish out of the three, right? Out of S&P, NAS, and US 30, but still, like I said, we use 30 as that confirmation in terms of direction. We use NAS as typically our lagger entry point, right? Yeah, this shit's flying, right? So like I said, if you partialed out, you're lit. Like I said, I wouldn't re-enter this personally. Even if we do melt, like, it is what it is to me. Like I said, I would have just took my quick 60, 70 points in like 10, 15 minutes and dip, because like I said, if you caught a quick 80 on NAS, then you just bought gold, boom, there's another quick 40. That's a quick 120 just points / pips that you would have caught between just the indices and the commodities, right? And you would have been risking, give or take, 7 to 10 on gold. And on NAS, I believe, was about literally 10 as well. Okay? So, beautiful, beautiful price today. If you guys enjoyed stream, please drop a like on my stream, family. If you guys enjoyed, right? Make sure that you guys tune in tomorrow. We're going to be live again 10 a.m. If you guys wanted to go over some more live indices, commodities, and even Forex tomorrow, we could go over some Forex. To me, I just kind of wanted to teach and give you guys the breakdown of just everything. Like I said, gold, like, I know a lot of you guys were scared when gold was in here, but it's like, I feel like when I'm able to kind of break down why and what we're looking for, it might give you a little bit more confidence to be able to enter in these areas and be able to snipe these re-entries, right? Without necessarily just having to guess per se. But in terms of that, family, I love and appreciate you guys. I'm gonna catch you guys on the flip. Peace.